Hello ladies and gentlemen, StarCraft fans and StarCraft players alike. I welcome you to this 1 vs 1 shoutcast between Jogginghose from Clan DR and none other than EmpireHappy. A very well known player, at least back in the days when you played Warcraft 3, Happy was there as well, and he used to play Undead, a despicable race which does make him quite knowable and experienced most of all. Now, this game is from the 149th, oh my god, that's a big number, 149th ZOTAC tournament, played as of late. Now, I have no idea what exactly part of this tournament is it, but it doesn't matter, those players have proven themselves to be of high quality and a high level of play, so we can only expect the best of both of them. Now, you can see pretty standard openings. The map is, of course, Cloud Kingdom, an amazing map, very expansion friendly in my personal opinion. Because if you look at it, just look, there's only of course one entrance to the natural, which you can choke, so that's favorable, especially for Terrans. They like to do that, I think, in a way. Oh, supply depot instead of destructible debris, interestingly enough. Apart from this gate, this entrance to the natural expansion, which is ripe and easy for the taking, we have a third base right here. And there's practically only two entrance paths. I consider this being an entrance path, and here being the entrance path. Analogically, of course, here and here on this map. Now, why don't I consider this an entrance path? Well, first of all, it's clamped up with rocks, so it's a choke point. And most of all, a choke point that is almost like a death corridor. And second of all, if you control this base and you expand here, this area is somewhat in your sphere of influence. That is, of course, if you're going to use the map properly and make it your sphere of influence, which I assume you will, because, well, it's good to have this comfortable corridor in which you can move, control your army, things like that, and so on and so forth. Now, EmpireHappy has started with a Reaper. Now, Reapers, after the excuse me, changes with the new patch, I mean with the House of the Swarm, are very effective scout units. They don't do as much damage as they used to, so they are less of violent killers, as pictured by Blizzard, and more of an effective support scout sort of unit. Now this Zealot is right from jogging, is already going to the enemy's base, but Reaper has outsmarted him. EmpireHappy knows about it, and he's already here fighting that pylon like a man. Now he has been spotted, and he is already taken the fight with the probes. Now if he's going to succeed, I don't know. He actually might. One probe has been taken out. Jogginghose is doing a nice play, and he's inside the enemy's base with a Zealot. Now he rather knows that this won't actually happen. Yeah, he knows that. Reaper killed two sentries and has been chased off by a Stalker. Now this Zealot, I believe he could have attacked this SCV at the bunker and slow it down considerably, is in a world of hurt, because I'm afraid he might actually end up being too happy about it. That SCV is in no danger, and that Zealot is going to fall. So 200 resources lost already by Jogginghose, unfortunately, for the time being, and Jogginghose has decided to step up his gameplay and start with an expansion. An early Stimpack upgrade by Happy, who thus far is happy, pun, and content with staying only on one barracks. Risky play, a little black blocked at the moment, unfortunately enough. A little of a risky play going for the tech heavy build, but what does he know about Jogging? Jogging sent in a Zealot. He's got a Reaper to scout, so now he knows the enemy has an expansion, and he's completely content and fine with doing that low unit production gamble sort of tech opening with expansion, Stimpack, tech lab, and a lot of units. Not many units, I mean, early on. Because he has that Reaper, and that Reaper allows him to scout and control this area of the game. He knows everything what Jogginghose is preparing. He knows his tech, he knows he's got an expansion, and he's got yet another probe, an achievement on its own. Well, finally he's lost that Reaper. What's good's good, but everything usually ends sooner or later, and in that case in a pretty abrupt, explosive, and apparently rather painful sort of fashion. Now, Happy's taking out, adding a factory, an essential requirement for starport and production of those medivacs, a crucial unit. Now, Jogging has decided to opt for an observer, a good option. He needs that observer, 2 observers as a matter of fact, already on the map, and he needs, and even the 3rd one being added, he needs those observers to know what Happy is doing. And that's crucial, that's pivotal, because it's up to Happy to make something happen until, say, 17 or even 20th minute. Why is that so? Well, Protoss have the most tier 3 tech units in this game. Ooh, those Marines look scary. Now Protoss decided to retreat. I mean, Observer decided to retreat, and a wise Observer that is. Now, the Terrans have a very good opening between approximately 12 to 17th minute. That might seem like a huge time gap, but keep in mind that games have a different rhythm, and it's a general consensus that in that time, Terrans have an opportune moment for an effective strike against the Protoss. A strike that might be far more difficult in the later part of the game due to Protoss's, oh now he's blind blocked, powerful tier 3 units. Colossi, Archons, High Templars, Dark Templars, even air units for Protoss, for Skytars, are impressive and indeed worthy of recognition. So we can see Happy is already moving forward, already going towards his enemy's base, and now he's decided to attack through this pathway by destroying those ropes and making it a genuine attack path. And it's a good call, it's a good use of his units. He is still waiting for reinforcements and some of the upgrades, concussive shells, infantry armor, and he wants to make the map more operable for his units. Now, a drop going inside the base of our Protoss player, and that's a good call, because this drop can and might yield very positive results. Now, this pylon has spotted it, obviously, but it's going to be the last thing he ever does because that pylon is down. Luckily enough, it does not block our Protoss player, who's adding a lot of pylons, is going a... well, not that heavy, it's only, what, 6 gateway, yes, 6 gateway combination with only 1 immortal on the battlefield thus far, and an adding of Templar Archives and Dark Shrine at the same time. What would Kerrigan say if she saw that? Well, she'd certainly say a bold move, because it's not the standard kind of a play. Must remember that Protoss is at the moment racing with time. And that time is a Happy's timing attack. An attack that might and will happen, and thanks to the addition of medivacs, it might completely omiss and ignore any use of sentries. Now, Jogginghose has a very good read on his enemy, and he knows what to expect due to zealots, due to observers, and he is playing excellently. I want to emphasize how good he plays. It might seem a little defensive, it might seem bottled up, but there's no need to hurry with Protoss. You don't have to go out and rush. Happy's on 2 bases. Jogginghose knows that, so he can afford to play in this fashion. He can afford to take it slow, build up his technology and upgrades, get all the good upgrades for his army, Chargelats, Psystorm, upgrades for level 2 armor and weapons. Those are quality and price upgrades, very useful for the Protoss indeed. Now, a little drop of zealots here to determine what the enemy has and what the enemy does. And now Jogginghose knows that Happy, predictably and with a good read, assumes that his enemy is most likely getting Colossi or some air units. Air units are far less likely because, well, we didn't have... oh, that is a great read by Happy. If he knows that he is going to lose that factory, most likely at least. So he decided to send it in and scout everything, and he knows exactly, excuse me very much, and he knows now about the Colossi. So his read was good. He knows that there are no air units because there was no Oracle harassment or Phoenix scouting and harassment involved. He knows his enemy is doing a third base. And let's just look at it. He knows his enemy is doing a third base. He doesn't have a third of his own, so he's decided immediately to go in and stop it. And he did. He achieved exactly that. He stopped the warping of the pylon and nexus. Now he left only a marine, but a marine is all that he needs in order to stop that expansion and get to know, acquaint himself with the potential of that expansion in the future. Now he knows that his enemy is determined to get that expansion. So he's making one of his own. He would most likely like to be in a base advantage, of course, because that's the most comfortable situation for the Terran, especially that the timing is opening, slowly getting smaller and smaller, especially due to Jogging's play, and that he has already added, the factory still being inside the base, he already added High Templars, he has the possibility to make Dark Templars, so he's got a very wide array of tech. He knows the enemy's movement, he knows what to expect, where to expect it, and how to adapt. Now, this Dark Templar is going to have a short-lived and unfortunate life due to Happy being preemptive and placing a missile turret exactly where it was needed. Now, another Dark Templar on the map. They are so great for scouting, not only for killing stuff, but also for scouting. And Happy has secured his own third base. Apparently, he considers himself capable of taking his Nemesis in a late game. Now, Ghost being added to this unit composition, and that's a necessary addition to any bio. Those ghosts are needed, and we see that dance beginning, the dance of Side Storms, the dance of taking damage and retreating, and those Vikings are pretty low. And that leads Jogging in actually a good position. He already has a lot of high-tech units, a little earlier than usual. In 17th minute, he already has not only Colossi, but also High Templar and Dark Templar, possibility of Archons. He played it out excellently, and he's adding level 3 armor, a good read. Armor is in that case far more useful on charge lots due to ghosts being present on the map and having EMP. Now, those charge lots are going in and they focus on the bunker. Now, with that many defensive upgrades, they might actually do that. They have decided to focus on the SCV instead, and they are attacking that command center. Not exactly excellent play, but it might actually succeed. Now, they are taking a lot of damage, and they are causing Happy to move his entire army right here. He slowed that expansion, he managed to take that command center out. So, he had not a net, but a subjective gain over his enemy by slowing up his 4th base, with his 4th base already in the making. Since it seems to be a macro-oriented game style, those Dark Templar won't know what hit them due to that missile turret. They are in a world of hurt and they will die. Oh my god, unfortunate, they are quite expensive, so that was pretty unfortunate. Another DT taken out. Happy knows what his enemy has. What he doesn't know, and what I think he assumes differently, is that Jogging has already made this upgrade. Extended thermal lamps. A necessary upgrade for the Protoss. An upgrade that makes Colossi so good, as they are in fact. Because with the range of 6 only, Colossi are in a bad spot to deal with Marauders, and they are in a very bad spot to deal with Vikings. So he needs that upgrade before doing anything, and he's buying his time with Dark Templars to put his enemy on edge, to make him feel bad about what's happening, to make him feel and remind Happy that Happy's not in control. Ooh, that Templar, like that Zealot had slow-mo. And a Side Storm added, a lot of damage taken by Happy's army, and Happy Happy has a lot of ghosts, so those EMPs are money. EMPs, they burn so much energy for sentries. Sentries are low energy, but we have a beautiful time off added on with a lot of side stunts, and that's a dead zone. No one wants to be here, and that's very wise decision making by Happy, who is for the time being controlling his units rather correctly. He knows that he is unable to engage because of those side stunts directly, so he is trying to focus down probes and nexus, but that might not be enough as those side stunts are wrecking the kills and are doing the damage, but ghosts are working their finest, and they have added so many sides. Oh my god, that was a price storm. He lost so many units, and that almost equalized the money count. Now, will Happy manage to break that army? I'm afraid not. Jogging has managed to reinforce it substantially enough to stop the enemy's push against his own 4th base. Important and telling a lot of things about this game's development. Happy has suffered a major drawback. He's actually launching his own 4th base just now. He is not behind thanks to mules, but he lost that fight. Perhaps Protoss lost more resources, but it was in the end of the most fortunate timing for our Terran player. And now he's in a bit of trouble. Why is he in a bit of trouble, ladies and gentlemen? Well, naturally, he had a very powerful army composition, a lot of bio, but that said bio wasn't able to break the Protoss spine and stop him from taking this base. And that's very important, because now he will deal with a 4-base Protoss, a situation that is extremely unpleasant for the Terran player to be in. A situation where he faces a lot of high-tech units, a Protoss army with good upgrades, and I mean a lot of good upgrades. No blink yet, but that might soon change depending on our Protoss playstyle. Now he's harassing Happy from the higher ground. A lot of casualties being added around this 4th base. Jogging has decided not to go for a sort of powerful attack. He's taking it very slow. He is killing a lot of SCVs. Actually, let's look at that. 14 SCVs killed to 10 SCVs killed by Happy, and those Stalkers are certainly paying for themselves now. They will most likely have to retreat due to that scan going in any moment, or just medevac appearing, and now they have to retreat. But that's a very unpleasant situation for him to be in. He can't control this place on his own, and he is forced to fight Stalkers and other annoying Protoss units. That Templar will most likely, High Templar will most likely die. Quite unfortunate for him. He tries to hide, and he actually manages for the time being. And another exchange between Vikings, Colossi and High Templar, with addition of some Stalkers and Archons, and of course Mortal Charge Lots in the mix. Now they are vying for control of this middle up area. And I believe our Protoss player will look on this base and think, guys, actually, I could take that base. I could take the 5th base and show Terran who's boss. Especially that Happy is taking his own 5th base. And Jogging won't like it. He will have 2 choices. Either fight it head on, that Zealot blocking it very nicely, prize Zealot, or he can either fight, or he can take his own 5th base and equalize it. Happy predicting that has already moved to that position to find that non-existent 5th base. Now, interestingly enough, Jogginghose has added 2 Stargates, a lot of gateways that have not been changed into warp gates as of yet. He's adding Fleet Beacon and Stargates. Now, let's think about Jogginghose's options. He is in what appears to be a long war of attrition against an entrenched, solidified Terran player that is taking a solid position on the map. Now what does that mean? What does that mean? I am fighting an enemy who's got long range army with Vikings against my prize Colossi, who's dangerous and who is well entrenched. And breaking Terran siege lines is very difficult. So he thinks, I need some argument in this war of attrition. I need artillery. Oh, those ghosts are taking a lot of storms. Those ghosts aren't cheap. They are pretty expensive when it comes to units. They are using that cloak effectively, but there are observers in his army albeit 2 left. They are using that sniper extremely effective against those dark High Templars, and High Templars are being eliminated as we speak. Now, we have a fleet beacon on the map. A lot of damage for these units. Now, Jogging is playing that very well, and he's adding something he needs. And he knows he needs that. I believe that he will make Tempest in this game. Now, if he manages to survive this pressure, because that pressure is getting substantially higher. Those Vikings are not in the best of spot, by Ghosts are controlling High Templar rather effectively. He has taken a good angle, and he's done exactly what Jogging has done several minutes ago. So he's repaying him in kind, blocking that expansion completely. And here we are, we see the addition of Tempest, a siege unit, a unit with biggest range in entire Protoss arsenal. Jogging has decided, no biggie, if he blocks this that expansion, I'm going to move right here. I'm going to get my 5th base, finally. And he's got a big bank. He's got big bank compared to our Terran player. And Terran player has decided that in this war of attrition, interesting option, he will add nuclear arsenal. A nuclear weapon, very effective combination. Because that way he can force his enemy into an unfortunate and unpleasant position. And then he can take an expansion by nuking a pathway that leads to said expansion. Protoss won't be able to go in. I mean, there's a nuke. You can't go and fight in the nuke area because you will lose your entire army. So you will have to give up that expansion. That is at least the plan. I'm not sure whether Happy is taking into account the possibility of Tempest. Tempest that, by the way, could profit from some damage upgrades, because those damage upgrades are rather good on those units. And what is Tempest count? It's 3, 4 and still increasing. And our Protoss player is maxed out with Terran finally having a big bank. Now, Happy's Marauders are in a world of hurt. They killed a High Templar, that's Zara blocking his bodies, and finally we have some casualties. Now, when it comes to workers killed, the situation is even. When it comes to resources lost, our Protoss player has lost far more due to effective Viking and Ghost usage. But he decided to turn the tide with addition of those Tempests, and that's it. That's the money unit that we see. And we have a nuclear strike already being sent on that expansion, but our Protoss knows what's going on. Another nuclear strike sent right in that expansion, but I hope he will dodge it just as well. Another nuclear strike added to this expansion in case probes return. It's not the most effective use of those units. I think that Happy could benefit himself from adding some different units. I mean, he is not in a comfortable spot against the Protoss because his options are more limited due to presence of those Tempests. Tempests are awesome. They just do so much damage. They are despicable to Viking attacks, but they do a shot, and they take a lot of units down the drain. Tempests have high range, Colossi have high range, and High Templars are there in case Happy decides to go in. He will meet storms. Now, a lot of ghosts, but those ghosts are not as effective as if they were just facing, say, Archons and High Templars mostly. They are facing units with a lot of HP still. So, Happy is losing far more than his opponent for the time. And this is a war of attrition. It is the definition of a war of attrition. I think some feedback could be used effectively here. Although unfortunately for Jogging, he doesn't have enough High Templar to warrant feedback play. He needs those for those storms. Storms are what's blocking the Terran and making it enable for him to move forward up the ramp and attacking. So Jogging is in a comfortable spot. He's got Tempests, and those Tempests will easily bombard that planetary fortress. He will start doing damage to it. He will hit those Vikings and retreat and defensive storm right here, and those units take a lot of damage. Those those ghosts are unfortunately, well, dead. Another 6 Vikings added, but let's remember that each Viking isn't as cheap as we think it is. it stacks up when you lose them to Tempest Harass, on and on and on. And there's another Viking dead, and there's another Viking dead to a storm. And we see that they are all in the red. Now, oh my god, that nuke might be the golden nuke, that might be the money nuke. If he manages to bait Jogginghose into staying in this effective position, that would be devastating. But no, Jogging has retreated, luckily for him. Had that nuke had that nuke landed, I believe that will be GG, because he lost every single thing. And wow, that was a good read and an exciting game. We can see that Happy is unable to break that Protoss death ball. He can't fight them on equal terms, and the longer that exchange goes, let's see on this nuke, we have a drop on a nuke location, and those pros has managed to retreat in time. That was well played, and you can see the longer it goes, the closer Jogging is to equalizing, and in consequence taking the lead in this game. We can see Protoss air weapons added, and my humble opinion would be finally a 6th base for both players, although this base looks like it's done for, unfortunately enough. So that's a nice win for Happy. He managed to stop his enemy from mining from one base. That planetary is indeed very durable. I think that Neo still upgrade, armor upgrade at this point could have been effective. Those ghosts are taking a lot of punishment. Those Vikings are in trouble as well. And those Tempers, they are so difficult to kill. They deal so much damage over time in this game. They outrange his enemy severely. They are slow with damage and movement, but they are controlled well. They hit when they have to, they retreat, they hit again, and they retreat again. And we have a very high Viking count, a Viking count that I personally think might not be wise enough, because let's remember, Jogging can just warp in a battalion, a gazillion, a division of zealots, and those zealots will kill his enemies. And even 2 High Templars can easily cock-block those Vikings from going in and hitting what they want to hit. This waltz is beautiful in its execution, in the slow, focused and determined presence of Jogging. He knows what to do. He made a little misstep, he lost a few Colossus here, but he is still in equal. And he secured this base as well. He's also trying to secure this base. But that might not be the case with Marauders dropping in. Another base located here. So, a war of attrition indeed, and let's just speed a little bit this Dance of Death, because we're going to see yet another exchange between those units. A poo-poo-pow, and those Vikings taking out something. No, that Tempest is yet alive. And he needs those upgrades, and he needs them here and now. I believe that air unit upgrade for Protoss with that many Tempests, 9 Tempests taken into account, is necessary. It's necessary due to the fact how they work. Now, those zealots won't kill a planetary fortress. That's not possible. It's not the case. A missile turret has been added, and that's a good decision. Photon cannons to create some sort of front line, but alas, and to no avail, we have ghosts. We have Marauders dropped in, and another nuclear strike from Happy at this place. And at this moment of the game, I am unable to tell who is going to win this game. Another bad decision by Jogginghose, who focused this building instead of missile turret for his Dark Templars. He could have at least forced his enemy to use some prize scans. And those scans are essential in fighting that Tempest and Colossus threat. They are. And that has, in fact, still, it's equal. So even despite few bad decisions, Jogging is in a commanding spot, in good position. Now, this is a good location for Vikings. They dealt some damage. They managed to take out a Tempest out, or even 2. They managed to lower that count substantially. But now they took 2 full volleys of Tempest fire, and that means some Vikings died. Now, Terran has a bigger bank than our Protoss player. But our Protoss player is maxed out, and they are both suffering from gas starvation. This is futile. Those attacks are ineffective. They can only distract the Terran player. Now, why is Jogging giving up this position? I am not exactly aware of why. Those are some price storms, but nevertheless, medivacs are still there. They are probably 0 of energy, and now Happy has been a little sandwiched between two bases. And oh my god, now everything makes perfect sense. That was such a good read and decision. He managed and forced Happy into a bad positioning for his army. He didn't have a clear retreat, and now he's going to pay the price. Jogging made an excellent play. He forced Happy to go into an unpleasant position, and now this base is going to fall. This crucial piece of defensive position has been taken out by Jogging, and oh my god, that was brilliant. Baiting Happy to go here between a rock and a hard place, and then sending in your army in this angle to defeat it. And now Jogging is on the run and on the attack, and Happy has no gas to fuel his Ghost and Viking production, and he has been defeated. Oh my god, that was such an excellent play, such an intelligent use of his units by Jogging. It defies description. You just have to see it again. Let's just rewind a little bit and see what Jogging did. What did Jogging do, and what did it win in the game? Now look, he's still here. This battle is undecided. Both have a lot of bases, and that might actually be the case. Let's speed up a little bit to go past that nuclear strike. Tempest count is actually very problematic for Happy. He doesn't have a mean to counter it. He can't add battle cruisers due to Tempests and High Templars, which are, by the way, in very big count. Now those Vikings went in a little far. They made some damage, and that makes Happy a little happier. Well, happier than he was, because he took out some Tempests, and those are expensive units as well. Now, those volleys were painful to watch, and they hurt his a lot. But now Jogging is making the play. Jogging is doing what won him this game, and essentially I wanted to look at that and keep in mind why did he do it. He knew that this war of attrition would go on and on and on, and the victor would be undecided. Now he moves here. Terran player knows that. Happy immediately sees the spot, or sees something what he considers a spot. He caught a lot of High Templars. The bait was here. But Jogging can rebuild that High Templar count substantially faster. And now he returned. He blocked the pathway. He is unable to retreat through here because there are units warped in, and he is forced in this tight spot with only 3 medivacs and Vikings being completely obliterated. With no Vikings to stop the Colossi and Tempest from doing whatever the hell they want, that base is undefended. That base falls, and with that base, the entire part of the map, the second Zelnaga Tower, is in Jogging's commanding position. So in this war of attrition, that is a resemblance and a comparison to a sort of blitzkrieg. A fast attack, a good maneuver, a bait, and a consequence that leads to Happy's army being completely devastated. In this war of attrition, Tempests were the winners. And with that optimistic conclusion, with that understanding of great maneuver and how that tactical maneuver has affected this strategical outcome of this game, I thank you, dear viewers, for watching. Subscribe, like or dislike, comment if you agree or if you disagree. Share your opinions if you want more replays, what kind of matches you would like to see. And of course, I'll see you around next time. JJ signing out. See you guys in StarCraft.